Through the generous contribution of Dr. Lewis's family, we're very fortunate to be able to share with you these timeless recordings of Dr. M. W. Lewis, a self-realized American yogi. Dr. Lewis was Paramahansa Yogananda's first American disciple and dearest personal friend. The wisdom Dr. Lewis imparts through these teachings will give you a dynamic and practical insight into the ancient science of yoga as taught by Paramahansa Yogananda. This lecture's title is Divine Love, True Friendship, and was delivered in Hollywood, California on November 15, 1959.
Subject this morning, Divine Love, True Friendship, or the One True Love. This subject is very dear to the hearts of us all. Also, it is a very difficult subject to speak about, because you know that true love cannot be put into words. It's very hard to discuss. Divine love is a celestial experience. As the Master says, very difficult to put into words. But this one divine love, which is underneath all true friendship, is none other than the pull of God, the pull of His great attractive force, which is drawing all things back home to Him. And that is the greatest force in the universe, far greater than the force of creation, because all things resolve back finally into God. And so this friendship, we must realize, is of God. True friendship is of God. True friendship is none other than Spirit's attempt to return from duality and multiplicity, relativity, back into the unity of the One. God has become many, and He is sitting in the hearts of each one of us, and He is trying to return home to Himself, so to speak. And that's why every true friendship is of God, and every true friendship has the bond of divine love, unconditional love. And so friendship is one of the greatest aspects of God, one of the greatest phases of God's omnipresence and omniscience. Everything is in God. Whatever aspect you want to approach Him as, Heavenly Father, Mother, Friend, Beloved, is there. He is the One. And because He is the One and is trying to return home to that oneness, having made so many things and so much creation that He might express Himself through so many ways, now He wants to go back home Himself to Himself. And friendship is the way. Friendship is perhaps the greatest, quickest path back home to God. Because when you have the friendship or the relationship of guru-disciple, it is the greatest friendship. And that's the spiritual law of returning back home to God. This pull of God is, of course, change. It is metamorphosed into many forms. Human love. Family love is none other than divine love, but it's a little different because there are conditions and restrictions. Sometimes in these various forms of love, there is attachment and possession, and that dilutes divine love. Divine love is none other than God's unconditional love, His unconditional pull of everybody, irrespective of color, class, or creed, back home to Him. There are no conditions to God's love. There are conditions sometimes to human love and friendship. But true friendship has for its matrix or cementing bond the divine love of God's presence. Perhaps the greatest example is the guru-disciple relationship. True friendship is based, as I have said, on broadness, unconditional love, And that's how God is. That's just how he is. That's why every one of us is near and dear to God. Do not think you're an outcast. You are not. There is only one love, and that's God's love. How else could it be but unconditional? Because he has naturally his own interest at heart. He wants to draw all things back into himself. That's the law he has made. The law of creation sends his great force out to create all things. But the law of his love pulls all things back to him. And so that pull which you feel at different times, some more than others, is none other than God's great pull to draw you back, to draw each one of us back without restrictions, without conditions, back home to him. So true friendship is based on the presence of God in a dynamic way, a knowable way in the two friends, or many friends. That's the way back home to God. That's the spiritual law. That's why you feel friendship for one another according to the presence of God felt in the friend, whether it is unconditional or nearly so, or of another nature, where there is possession, limitation, and restriction. God, there are no restrictions, no matter what we do, no matter how evil we are, if you can call it that, or how much steeped in sin, which we are not, we're just steeped in a little delusion. We feel separated from God, that's all. The minute you remove that separation, there's no sin. So, God is, he realizes that. He realizes that we're under his delusion, his creative illusory force of Satan, none other than duality, none other than multiplicity, relativity, because in your meditation, if you go a little deep, where is it? It does not exist. But in place of that, we find the one love of the infinite Father without any ripple. That statement of Master, you know, when you're in the ripples of the mind, and sometimes ordinary family love and personal love is like the ocean. One day everything is fine, the next day everything is not fine, like the boat rocking up and down.